What I'm going to do is we're just going to put a low zero line in here, and then we're going to knock that out. I'm going to put a nice little fade on the sides, and then we're going to take the top section, we're going to take a little bit of this weight out the front, and then we're going to put some texture into the front to really build that up and get a nice crop textured fringe. So I'm following this round the back of the neck here and making sure that I don't go too close to the occipital bone, because we don't want that to go too high. So I'm bringing the weight line down to here for the zero. It's really important when you're working with the angle to make sure you've got enough light on the haircut. Going right across all the way up to the temple transition point with it nice and tight at that angle. So we're coming at this angle down to the occipital bone. Okay, so now we're creating our shape, and I'm going to do that. I'm just going to use my one guard open, and we're going to come just a finger's width below where we put our two line, nice and square, going square up. We're not tipping it out, we're not tipping it in. And this is how you create a really strong masculine shape, by creating these square shapes. Putting our guideline round to the occipital bone. Keep combing down your hair to make sure that you've got it all right, and all the little pieces that you want to catch. So now the next step now, we're going to close up our clippers with the one guard on, and we're just going to come very slightly below that, just to knock that last little bit out. Just one finger's width below that line. In between that one and the zero line we created, we're going to knock that out with our clippers open, so giving us a half length. From the zero line up to the one line, just in between, and we're going to work with that. I'm just going to use half of the clippers. I'm not going to use the whole flat part of the blade. That gives me more control instead of just using it flat. So now we've finished cutting our side panels, creating that nice square masculine shape through the front. Now what we're looking to do is to create the same squareness through the top, and we're going to do that by cutting the profile section first to get our guide, and then we're going to come and layer through the top using point cutting through the front, making sure that they're nice and square. We've got our profile section guide here. Take this section up, there we can see it right there, and what we're going to do is just point cut here to match that line up, giving a little nice straight line but giving a little bit of texture. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that first section, comb it back, there's our previous guide, and point cut that line in there as well. There we go, just point cutting in, following along this top section to create that square masculine shape that we're looking for, but not wanting to create a very, very blunt line. So point cutting it. Now I'm not going to take this fringe section, I'm just going to do that as a separate part, and what I'm going to do now is bring these side panels up to make sure that they're nice and square. So I'm just going to come through one side and through the other, just bringing each section up. And I'm going to blunt cut those corners rather than point cutting it, because I want to keep that really sharp and very, very masculine on these corners. I don't want any softness there. And if you want to, you can just make sure that this corner here is really, really very blunt cut, because that's what's going to keep that masculine shape in there. Texture through here, harsh corner through here. Make sure your model or your client's head's very, very square. You don't want it over to one side, because then you're not going to get that correct shape. So now, we've done our side and back, we've done our top panel, we've done our side panels here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of texture into this fringe. So the first thing I'm going to do is just connect this fringe up a little bit. So we're going to bring this little bit here. I'm just going to point cut that to blend that fringe section in. Okay. Now I'm just going to get a little bit of shape in here. Again, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to elevate this because I want softness. So I'm just going to take that little bit off, just to keep it elevated, keep it soft, but reduce the length and the weight a little bit, just using point cutting. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do to create a little bit more texture is I'm going to use a shaping razor. You can use it like this, but I like to use it more like a pen stroke. When you're using one of these, you want to make sure that the hair is really wet, because if it's not wet, then it's really going to snag, which is not going to be very comfortable for your client or your model. I'm going to take a small section, and I'm just going to use each section like that, like a small pen stroke. We can create the texture that we want in exactly the right place and take out exactly the amount of hair that we want. What we're going to use on this style today, because we want something really dry, we're going to use this American Crew defining paste, which is a really dry product. And we're going to use about that much, which is, you know, a finger's worth. We're going to put that all over our hands, spread it all over, so that we get this, and then we're going to work that into the hair while it's damp. And we're going to work this into the hair, and that's going to help the shorter sections lift up and give us that texture that we're looking for. Also going to use a tiny bit of this American Crew mousse powder, which we're going to use just in the fringe here, into the roots, and then we're just going to massage that in to give us that lovely shape and texture